Morning. Good morning. If you're there, let me know. Good morning, everybody. I'm waiting to a few more come in. I was having issues this morning again with my live. Man, this live having the time. But anyway, good morning. Good morning, JT. How are you? So I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. I was having problems this morning um, with the live. Man, this live we're having a time. But for some reason, that sun is shining. Hold on a second. Maybe it's better. Maybe without the light you can see better. I'm good, JT. I am actually good. How's the diet coming? How's the weight loss going for you? Or where are you on that? So I'm gonna wait till a couple more people come in. I really wanted to do good morning, Jacqueline. Oh, you're from Maryland. How is it there? How's the weather? I know it's hot. I'm in Texas, of course. It is extremely hot here. How's the weight loss going, you guys? And let me know what I can assist with. I know I talk, often about prepping food and exercising and things of that nature, but I want to hear from you guys what exactly it is. I'm sorry, that's my dog. What exactly it is that Shiva, what exactly it is that I can assist with as far as helping you on your journey and understand we're at like week 6. So let's talk about where you are with your weight loss, how much you're trying to achieve. Good morning, Sasha. How much you're trying to achieve and what we can do to kind of help with that. I will say quickly, I'm doing this challenge, but I'm also working with 2 ladies that live close to me in reference to their weight loss. So they're kind of following me along on the weight loss challenge as far as YouTube, but they're talking to me personally. And they seem to think talking to me personally will help. So that's why I'm actually committing to do the live, even though there's not a lot of people that are actually on live in the mornings. But I'm committing to do the live because sometimes you need that kind of personal kind of one-on-one, because what I see might be a challenge, might not be a challenge for you. So just kind of let me know what your challenges are. How can I assist? And again, I've done this or supported people with their weight loss now for several years. So this is not new in reference to the information that I have, but I want to be able to answer questions that are relevant to you if I can. So your video popped up in my feed. I don't know anything about the weight loss program. I was interested in joining. Okay. And that's fine, JT. If you're interested in joining at any time, and again, this is a 12-week weight loss challenge. However, we know that weight loss does not stop at 12 weeks. This is just in reference to my live. I committed to do the live for 12 weeks every Saturday morning at 10 because people kind of voted for that for 12 weeks. However, at any time that if you're on a weight loss journey or you have some questions about weight loss, you can always hit me up and I can answer those. So if you have questions, if you join, obviously you want to know something about weight loss or any challenges that you have. So if you have any questions for me, let me know, and I have no problem with answering them or being a resource as far as that goes. With weight loss, but absolutely, you can ask me whatever you want to ask in reference to weight loss. What are your weight loss goals? Currently, today, unfortunately, I'm at like 16 pounds weight loss today. I was at 15 pounds last week, but when you get closer to your goal, of course, it slows down. I dropped a pound this past week, which I wasn't really excited about, but I did a lot of running in reference to getting things together for the restaurant and having to go out of town, dealing with some rental property and some evictions, which, oh my God, rental property is horrible. So I had to kind of deal with that. So I knew it would slow things down because, of course, I was on the road. So let me say this in reference to that. While people are come on in, you guys. Yes, JT, absolutely. Go check out my other videos. I talk about and just kind of answer people's questions as to what challenges they are having and what issues they're dealing with. One of the big things that I still say, and I say on every call, is you really have to work on food prep. And I don't mean necessarily that you have to be the person that cooks it. A lot of people kind of order those meals that are already put together. I personally don't, because I like to cook anyway, and I cook in abundance anyway. So to me, those are kind of expensive considering I like to cook and I can freeze my food, but not everybody likes to cook. If that works for you, I'm gonna say do it, but try to stay within, I said 1,200, 1,500 calories. And that really does depend upon what you're doing in a day, like how many calories you're burning actually in a day just to go out through the day. Because one of the really important things is try to stay at a 500 calorie deficit per day. And if you can do that, you can drop 2 to 3 pounds per week. And I'm gonna tell you that it's not easy because most people don't know how many calories they're taking in. Like they don't understand, like munching is, habit. Taking snacks in are habit, not realizing how foods are cooked and prepared and how many calories you're actually putting in your body. That's the things you're going to have to be aware of. And I don't mean be obsessed with it, but just be aware of it. And I think that's part of the benefit of having your food. Well, I know that's a big benefit of having your food already prepared, is that you know how you cooked it. You know how it was prepared or what's put in it, and there's no extra butters or anything like that in your food. So that's one of the big benefits of prepping your food. But if you cannot, like I said, you can always order. I mean, so there's grocery stores now that have those little packaged meals. And if you look on the ingredients in the back, and I don't mean the frozen food, I'm talking about they actually prepare it for you. If you look on the ingredients in the back, they'll tell you how many calories. If you're not a good person in reference to being aware of how many calories you're taking in a day, you can go to a regular grocery store. You don't have to go to anything fancy to actually prep your food for the day. Let's see. Do you have any tips for night snacking? How to stop this? Whew. Okay, so unfortunately, night snacking, like just Jay said, it's a habit. People do it because they're bored. They do it because they're just used to snacking. That is a habit. The only thing I can tell you is you're going to have to go cold turkey on the night snacking. And that is hard. And I know most people don't like to hear that. Now, if you can't do that, if that's a struggle for you to go cold turkey, I would say get something that you like, that's healthy, that's not going to put extra carbs and extra fat on you right before you go to sleep. So if I just have too much on something, I have beef jerky. Very healthy. I got it from the health food store. Very healthy. It's prepared, very healthy. Very few fats in it. Almost none. I mean, not totally, but none. But it's really low on fats. There's no carbs. It's not going to put anything extra on you. And it gives me the feeling that I've had a snack. So, and not saying you have to do beef jerky, but you could do turkey jerky or some kind of protein if you feel like you must snack. But most of snacking, especially that midnight snacking, is a habit. Just like people emotionally eat, and I know because I can periodically be an emotional eater. That's the same thing with snacking at nighttime. So I would say if that's a big thing for you, get something that is healthy that you can snack on, but really try to wean yourself away from that. But jerkies don't hurt anybody. It's not going to hurt your diet. I'm not saying eat the whole bag, but it's not going to hurt your diet, and it might help you feel like you have done something. You feel like you have some snacks in you. Tips for nighttime snacking. Let's see, I answered that one. Thanks. I'll go back and check. Any other questions in reference to that? Okay, so while you guys are thinking of questions, because I would love to answer them, the funniest thing happened to me. So I got to tell you, because this is a mini story time in the midst of a weight loss. So I'm going to Walmart. I'm walking into Walmart. I have on my workout clothes or whatever. I'm going in, and it's kind of in the evening time, so there's not a lot of people walking into Walmart. And Walmart's not my favorite store, but it's real convenient. So there's a lady coming in, and I see her like out of the corner of my eye, but I don't really see what she looks like. And all I heard was, "God damn, your ass is on your back. How does that happen? Is that real? Can I touch it?" Y'all, it was so funny. Okay, so I was like, wait a minute, it's paying off and stuff. I'm doing what I need to do. And I told you I'm kind of muscular, right? 4'1". So I'm trying to look cute because this woman is she's loud. And she's not saying it in a gay way. She's really trying to give me a compliment. So I'm trying to look cute, walking into Walmart, doing my little twist. Why I fall down? That's what you get for trying to be cute. So I'm going to say, as you get sexy, just kind of watch how you walk. Anyway, so that is my short story time for when you get too sexy, you still really need to kind of watch how you balance yourself, especially when people give you compliments. Like me, I'm just, and actually what happened was I was getting on that curb and I missed it because she was giving me a compliment and I was trying to twist. But there it is. Anyway, any other questions as far as the weight loss? So let's see. Yeah, that ain't funny, Sasha. But I did have to laugh. She was still giving me compliments all the way in there. But I brushed it off. I'm trying to be cute, be like, whatever. I look good and my butt on my back. And I literally walked around Walmart like I had my butt on my back, right? But it is what it is. So in reference to, like I said, the make sure you prep your food, you guys, and make sure, like, what I do, because I am a foodie and I've talked about that many times, is I get large amounts of vegetable. And I'm not really a vegetable eater, but I do force myself to be. And I have to make it where I actually like the way it tastes, which means I will grill it a lot. I don't put any like really fancy seasonings on it, but I will do garlic powder and, I like that smoked grill taste. So I'll put the smoked chips on the grill. So the vegetable can taste a little bit different and taste a little bit fancy. And then I just kind of play with different spices or whatever. So you can get as many veggies, as many fibrous veggies as you want. And mind you, potatoes are veggie, right? But potato is also high in carbs. So I'm not saying potatoes. I'm saying broccoli and asparagus and green beans and things of that nature, something that's going to help you push the food out. And the stuff that you can't eat right now or shouldn't be eating if you're trying to eating in abundance, if you're trying to lose weight on this particular challenge, is not that it's necessarily unhealthy things, is that it does not contribute to weight loss. So if you're just trying to maintain, be healthy, whatever, and that's fine. But in reference to trying to actually lose weight and lose weight timely, I'm going to say up your fibrous veggies, get as many as possible. And as far as meats, like I said, do fish, chicken, you can do beef, try to make it, something with low fat, unless you're going on a keto kind of diet. And we can talk about that in another time, but try to do like foods that will move your, the meats out of your system. Like you need something to keep everything moving if you're upping up your protein. Also, if you're doing like carbs, I would suggest you do your carbs in the morning, like oatmeal and things of that nature. Do it earlier in the day so you can burn all that off in the evening times. And again, I talked about it takes 3,500 calorie deficit. That means within a week, you have to be at a deficit of 3,500 calories. Ideally, it's 500 calories per day, but to lose 1 pound. ideally. I mean, that's what it takes to lose 1 pound. The sad thing is that's exactly what it takes to gain a pound. So when you have gained a lot of weight, can you imagine how much food that you're taking in? And I know that because I do, I've done it before, obviously, that I've taken in a lot of food. And I don't, it's not by accident I've eaten a lot or drunk a lot or whatever. What's S. Wiseman? Good morning. How are you? But so that's the kind of thing you need to think about when you think about losing weight. And if you have fallen, again, I lost 1 pound this week. I would prefer to lose more, but with the traveling back and forth, perfect example, I did not have my food with me. And because we had to go and do an eviction, I didn't have time to prep food to take with me. I actually had food in the refrigerator, but it was frozen, or in the freezer, but it was frozen. So I'm eating on the road, which even though I ate pretty healthy on the road, had a lot of sodium. So I might be carrying water, who knows? But it was not like the healthiest food. So ideally, you need to make sure you prep your food. That's prepping for success. So make sure you're prepping your food. Any other questions, suggestions to have carbs early in the day? Yeah, carbs earlier in the day are much better. And again, you still have to do the carbs in moderation. So, and whatever you eat, it still has to be in moderation. If you're going over your caloric deficit, and to be honest, it doesn't matter whether it's protein, healthy fats, whatever. If you're going over your caloric deficit for the day, you're still not going to lose weight. But if you're staying under that caloric deficit, it'll help you lose the weight. So one of the things I did, my daughter, and she's not big, she's actually very small, but she was going on a trip and she really wanted to cut the fat. Like I told you guys, even though I'm losing weight, I'm more on a fat loss journey because I like the aesthetics of it all. I like to keep my muscle. I've worked hard for them. I want to keep them. So she wanted to do the same thing. And again, she's not a big person. So, but I helped her strip off the little bit of fat she had, little bitty. But anyway, the little bitty fat she had, but she did not like being on like a regimented, plan, a regimented diet or whatever. Even though I can write out diet plans at this point, I didn't write out one. I just gave her the basics. She's an accountant. So I, let her know 3,500 calories, you can lose 1 pound. She decided at that time, and again, she's not big, that she wanted to lose, I want to say 10 pounds. So she kind of calculated what she'd have to eat per day or how many calories she could take in per day by the time her trip came to be able to lose those 10 pounds. So, and again, she's math, right? And not everybody's going to go through that, but because she's an accountant, numbers are her thing. So she actually made a plan for herself in reference to the calories, and it worked. So even though I'm telling you, and she did eat carbs. She loves oatmeal. She limited her carbs, but she ate oatmeal every morning. That was her favorite dish. She still probably would eat it for dinner, but I'm still saying if you really watch what you're taking in, and most people don't, and that's where most people's failures come in, or they do that the night eating, or they do that snacking. So even if you have little meals, but they have tons of calories in them, you're still not losing weight. And again, cheesecake is my favorite dessert, and I don't get it much often at all. I might get it twice a year, maybe. A little sliver of cheesecake, and I'm talking about a little sliver of cheesecake, is almost 1,000 calories. I'm gonna still eat the cheesecake. I'm just not going to eat it often. So when you tell me, well, I'm eating little bitty portions of food, and I'm either staying the same weight or I'm not losing weight, it might be that what you're taking in is still too high in calories. I know I can't eat cheesecake every day, right? But if I went on a cheesecake binge, I know I'm gonna gain weight. I mean, oh my God, cheesecake I just think it's the best dessert, God made, but it's high in calories. So that's the same thing with the foods that you eat. Just make sure you know what you're actually taking in reference to what you're eating on a daily. So are there any other questions in reference to what you need to do on a daily basis? And again, if you pack your food, if you're on the move constantly, I talked about, there's a bag called a 6-pack bag, and this is not I'm not endorsing anything. I just used to, when I was on the move, I would actually put my food in there and just take it with me. And, so I wouldn't have to say, okay, so I'm stuck at work or I'm stuck on the road and I don't have food with me, because you can go to a gas station, one of those 7-Elevens or, Stop and Goes or whatever. And they have microwaves where, you can warm up your food if you need to. So there's ways of doing this instead of finding ways not to do it. So it's still possible. But again, if you have fallen off your diet, if you're not, the scale is not moving like you need it to, then it's time to adjust your diet. Because if you're doing everything that we talked about, then the weight should come off. It might not come off as fast as you want, but it should come off. And menopause, again, I am in menopause. So it's not like I don't know what you're talking about, and I can still lose the weight. And trust me, I am probably one of the reasons I'm so passionate about talking about weight loss is because I'm such a big foodie, right? And I know the pitfalls of, going, and giving into food. But I also know all those problems that happen with your health, be it high blood pressure, diabetes. Most of my siblings, let's see, several of my siblings, I'm not going to say most, have diabetes, and the diabetes is attributed to food, right? It's attributed to improper diets long periods of time. So I've worked with people to the point where they could get off the insulin medication when they put their diets together, when they got their diets together. It might not be as fun, but to be honest, if you play with foods and figure out what you like, you can find a favorite food that's more healthy than just the regular, I want to go to McDonald's or wherever it is, or even the fancier restaurants that have a lot of like cream sauce and things of that nature. Cream sauce is pretty much what is it? Heavy whipping cream and of course seasonings and things of that nature. Again, I'm a foodie with butter and all that other stuff. Where I like all that great stuff, it should be the exception, not the rule on a daily basis. Okay. Okay. So eating, what's it? Dee Low, as far as eating at night in bed, I had a friend and it was so funny. She would talk to me. She would work out constantly. And I have told, and I'm a gym rat, right? So I have no problem with working out. The problem is if you are not a gym rat, you're going to burn yourself out, and you can't outwork bad eating habits. And I told her that forever, and she chose to prove or tried to prove me wrong with this. So she would work out for hours a day, like hours. And y'all, I'm not kidding. That she would go to the gym, let's say at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? She worked from home. She would go at 5 o'clock in the morning. It would be close to 11 or noon. She would be leaving the gym, and she'd do many things. Not she wouldn't stay on one thing. She'd do many different things. But y'all, that's too long. And I kept telling her that is too long. But ultimately, she ended up losing 100 pounds. But what I started telling her and started noticing is she started getting burned out, which I knew she would. I'm like, you're not going to be able to sustain that, because her thought process was, if I do all this exercise, I don't have to change my diet like you're telling me I need to change my diet. She ended up losing close to 100 pounds. The problem is when she got so burned out, she just could not stay in the gym. Her eating habits did not change. She gained the 100+ pounds back in a really short period of time. And then when I say short, for her to lose that much weight, I want to say it took her about close to 6 months. When I say she gained it back and then some, she did that in about 3 months. And, she got so discouraged. And I kept telling her, change the diet. You got to change the diet. You can't. And it made me think about it, Dee Lo, when you talked about eating in bed. What she would do is she would do all this workout and she'd go home and eat a bag of potato chips every night as habit, right? And when I talked to her about like the potato chips she was eating, regardless, it's not good. She wasn't eating them little bitty bags, right? Of potato. She'd eat like the family bags or half of the family bag of potato chips at night. I'm like, sweetie, you're going to gain that weight back. I don't know how to tell you that, and she was like, nope, I'm losing weight, and sometimes people got to go through their own journeys, right? They got to get their own bumps and bruises before they get it, because people look at me. And again, because even though I'm on this health journey, for the most part of my life, I've been like a size 4, size 6. I would say maybe 85, 90% of my life. But when I fall off, I fall off. And I fall off because something's going on. I'm eating, depression, whatever. When COVID happened, whatever, that's when I fall off. But because I know that, I know what it takes to pull it back together. So when I'm talking to her, I wasn't doubting her. My concern with her was, you're doing all this work. And even after she lost 100 pounds, right? I'm like, now change the diet. You're already kind of where you want to be. She has some more weight she needs to lose, but you're always kind of where we want to be. So let's change the diet. pull way back on that gym because you can't handle, like you can't, she's not a gym rat. She was just determined to try to get that weight off. And she got in such a depression when she started gaining the weight. She continued to even gain more weight than the 100 she just lost, which was very sad in my opinion. So I talked about it. Now she's doing it, kind of gradually, but it's very discouraging for her. And I get that. But even when I was trying to tell her, like I'm trying to tell you guys, that you have to deal with the hardest part, which is the diet. And the bad part about when you gain weight, it's not like when on drugs or something, you could just stop using drugs, right? If I'm on crack, and I'm gonna just throw it out there, you could just stop using crack. Not saying it's easy. You can go to therapy, whatever, but you don't have to use it to sustain your life. With food, you need food to sustain. So you can't just push away and you're through. That's why you got to change the habit. You get what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. That's why you have to change the habit, because it's real easy to go back to food, because it's not like you can say, well, I'm just never eating food again. Okay. So that's one of the things if you take nothing else from this 12-week challenge, please take that part of it. And what I will start doing, and I said, because this is such a passion of mine, after this 12-week challenge, I actually am going to start helping more people just kind of on a one-on-one basis in reference to their weight loss, because I'm constantly on a health journey. I'm constantly trying to help people get to where they need to go, if for nothing else, for sustainability of life, especially with people of color, because we have so many other issues that we deal with in reference to, heart disease and diabetes and all that other stuff. And most of those issues our health contributes to that, as far as our eating habits cause that to be a big factor. So if we can sustain life, that is my goal. Beyond the fact that you look better, you feel better, you fit in your clothes, all of that other stuff is a plus. Okay. Let's see. Tips for natural people to lose extra weight. Okay. So in reference to naturally petite women, losing the extra weight, the caloric deficit is the best tip I can give anybody, whether you are petite, whether you are, average size, whatever, I don't know what, you consider petite. You still have to, it is the same for everybody, right? You still have to have a caloric deficit. You have to lose weight. And again, that's the same thing. If you sustain weight, in most cases, you're eating as much as you're burning through the daytime. So you have to be at a caloric deficit, even if you're petite, to lose the weight. And again, that's not the fun part. And I know that's not the part that people want me to talk about, but that's the only thing that's going to help you. And I don't care what plan you're on. Like I see, which is so funny, I see on TV all the time, all these really great, pills and all this other stuff you can take to lose weight. Well, unless you're going to stay on those pills the rest of your life, you got to get back off of them. And still, if you have not dealt with the food, you're going to gain the weight back. And that's unfortunate. And that's why the journey in reference to weight loss is so difficult, because you're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have to change, have a paradigm shift as to how you think about food. And again, you can still be a foodie. You're just going to have to change it. Like when I really feel like eating, like I'll get like some bean sprouts and some, make kind of this Asian dish on my own. And I love it because it's kind of like Chinese, but it tastes good and it does not feel like it's healthy, but it's extremely healthy. So, there's different little things you can do to make your food good. And again, if you don't like the food, you're not going to stay on the diet. So I'm going to say find ways of making your food where you like the taste of it. 4'11". Okay, so 4'11" is not tall, but and again, that's the same thing. You still have to be at the caloric deficit if you're trying to lose the weight. There's just no getting around that, no matter how tall you are. Now, the difference is what you burn in an average day. So I don't know if you guys know, if you have like those watches, let's say an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or something that actually can track how many calories you burn per day on an average day. This will give you a good idea of how many calories you can actually eat and stay at a 500 calorie deficit per day. So I had a Fitbit. I pretty much know how many calories I burn, but it ebbs and flows with everybody. If I have a long workout day, it might be a little bit longer. Short workout day, whatever. So let's say on a good day, on a good workout day for me, I actually burn about, and this is everything from the time I get up, everything, even me talking or whatever is burning calories. So say from the time I get up to the time I go to sleep, I burn about 2,600 calories. And that's actually a lot of calories to burn in a day. But I'm bringing in, because I got room to move now. I done some cardio and, done all that other stuff. I got room to play with my diet today. So let's say if I can get up to 2,000 calories and I would still be at a deficit as far as what I'm taking in. Now, most people don't track their stuff like that because that's a lot. There's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of thinking. To me, it's too much thinking. That's why I keep it, simple. But if you need to, it's possible you can do that if you know how you're tracking calories per day. But let's say you don't work out. And again, workout is the plus because it helps with your heart. It helps the aesthetics. But it's not the be all end all as far as the weight loss. The calories are. That's just unfortunately the bottom line. I'm doing intermittent fasting, 2 meals a day. Do you do intermittent fast as well? Do you have any tips? Okay. So as far as intermittent fasting, I've gotten so many questions about intermittent fasting. And for the people that don't know, it is that you have a block of time that you are eating, whatever block it is. Yours is, let me use yours as an example, 18 to 6. So there's 18 hours where Elf Diana is not eating. She's eating within that 6-hour window. So that's what she's eating. She's eating within a 6-hour window. 18 hours, she's not eating anything. So she's allowing her body to kind of burn those calories within that 6-hour window. I'm going to say that not everybody, first of all, intermittent fasting does work if you can do it. The problem is not everybody's good at it. Not everybody can handle it. Have I done it before? Yes. But again, I'm a foodie. So my thing is, if I start eating, I want to keep eating. I can do it. I mean, I have gone on a protein fast, where I just did protein. So I can do it and I know it does work. I just know it's not successful for everyone. So in reference to tips on intermittent fasting, because again, I've tried it and I only tried it, honestly, is because I heard people talk about it. So I wanted to see what it's about, right? And it does work. It's just not my favorite way to do it. And where I found myself falling in intermittent fasting is, okay, so let's say, and I would have, I try to be over the top and extra strict. So I would do like 20 hours of not eating, 4 hours of eating, right? My problem with intermittent fasting, and most people with intermittent fasting, is after you get past that let's say that first 6 hours, no deal. In reference, it was no issue for me. But then I forget about that I'm in that window and I start, eating something, during that 20-hour time where I'm not supposed to be eating. So it is really difficult for me. And again, everybody's different to maintain intermittent fasting, but it does work. And I will say with that, when you actually eat, you still, and I know I've heard tons of people say you can eat whatever you want, right? During that period of time. I'm going to say you still have to be, and it does not matter your plan, you still have to have a caloric deficit. Because if that's the case, and I know people that have done that, they ate tons of food. All they did was pretty much either stay the same weight or, maybe slightly gain a little bit more weight, but it wasn't a noticeable drop. Now, if it works for you and you can stay at that caloric deficit when you eat, great. It just did not work for me because I like to kind of eat food throughout the day. And I don't mean like snacks or anything, but I do like to eat throughout the day. I just lost my Fitbit like 2 days ago. Oh, I'm sorry about losing your Fitbit. So I'm going to say whatever kind of system you use to track it. And that's just to give you an idea. 90% of the time, I don't wear my Fitbit. I kind of know now because I've been doing this a very long time, how much weight I burn during the daytime. I have kind of figured that out. The only thing that's changed a little bit, and to be real honest, it has not changed because of menopause, where most people think it has. My activities are staying the same. What happens is when you get older, most people slow down. So that's what they attribute to that. And then your cortisol levels get higher. And don't get me wrong, there's some changes that are going on in your body too. But as far as weight loss, when you get older, you can deal with that if you kind of cut out all the bad carbs and really work on your eating habits. But because what I hear often is I was eating the same things when I was in my 20s or 30s and gained no weight. And now I'm eating that same thing in my 50s and I'm gaining all the weight. The difference is when you're 20, 30, you probably, going out, you're clubbing, you're walking around, you're having fun, you're exercising, all that other stuff. Or even if you weren't exercising, you were active. When you get, older, you go to work, you might come home and you through, cook, clean, whatever, you come home, you through. Your activities have slowed down significantly. So therefore, even though you're eating the same thing, you're not burning the same calories, hence you're gaining the weight. So that's kind of what throws people off. I mean, what I could eat in my 20s, because I can easily say that when I was like in my early 20s, like right now, I stay pretty much a 4.6. In my 20s, I was like a 0.2. And that was a 0.2 without dieting. So it was, I'm not saying, that I started learning about health and really understanding health when I got in my 30s. In my 20s, man, diet what? It was just not my thing. So that's what actually happens to us. You got to change it as you get older, especially if you slow down. Okay. So anything else for me in reference to what needs to happen from this point on? So let's challenge each other, or to actually cook or prep your meal tomorrow, or you can do it today. To me, the weekends are great, but your work schedule might be different. Prep your meal for the week, right? Put it in containers or whatever, put it in a freezer so you can grab it. Make sure you have all your proteins together and cooked however you want, preferably no fried foods, obviously. Stay away from fast foods. I pretty much never, ever do fast foods. Every now and then, and it might be twice a year, maybe if I stretch it, you might see me at a fast food place, but it might be that I just can't get to food any other kind of way. But those are probably, and I love fast food, so I'm gonna say that. So I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it absolutely does not help with your health, nor does it help with weight loss. So I'm gonna challenge you to prep your food. Let me know how that's going. Let me know if you've lost weight so far, and if not, and you can let me know now, or you can let me know, later. Let me know if you've lost weight so far, and if not, what we can do to get you to where you need to go. Yeah, I'm in my late 20s. You notice the difference. So I'm gonna tell you in reference to being in your late 20s and knowing the difference as far as what I would say, check out your activities. Think about what you were doing in your early 20s as opposed to your late 20s. Has your activity changed? And I'm pretty sure they probably have. So, and that's when I didn't join a gym, honestly, until I got into my 30s. So in my 20s, where I was size 0, I went into the gym. I got my 30s because, I still wasn't big, obviously. By then I was going from, I couldn't wear 0s anymore, couldn't wear 2s anymore. So I was sitting at 4s. But to me, if you've always been really tiny, that was not small anymore to me. Even though looking back on it now, I wish it would. But to me at that time, it was not. So that's ultimately when I joined the gym. Okay. I still feel sluggish because of the pandemic food. So as far as feeling sluggish, so I'm going to tell you, first of all, I don't know, when you say pandemic food, what does that mean? But in reference to carbs, you're going to feel very sluggish if your plan is to cut out carbs, you're going to feel sluggish. Carbs are your energy source, your body's energy source. And when I say cut out carbs, I'm saying make it very, very low. And I don't know. Okay, so let me tell you the show, and I talked about this before. Have you guys seen the what is it called? The 600-pound show, my 600-pound weight loss or 600-pound life or whatever that show is. Anyway, so the doctors here in Houston, I'm on the outskirts of Houston, but the doctors here in the Houston area, or I'm on the outskirts of Austin. But he makes a point of saying, if you follow those kind of shows, and I follow them more so because I'm kind of fascinated at, how food affects people in their whole lives. There's just all over, their self-esteem. I know a lot of women that deal with men or stay with men that absolutely are no good for them because they have low self-esteem because of the weight. So that fascinates me, that whole, thing. But anyway, so when he gives them the diet, one of the first things he tells them is veggies and carbs. That's it. Veggies and carbs, veggies and protein. That's it. He gives them a 1,200 calorie diet because that's a good, kind of parameter. But veggies and protein, you can live off that long periods of time. You can just live off that, first of all. But I know you don't want to. You want to actually have some kind of, quality of life with your food. And again, if you schedule when you're going to, let's say, have a cheat day. If you've done really good on your diet, cheat days don't hurt. The problem with cheat days is when you do them every day, right? Then it's no longer cheat, it's just bad eating habits. So that is what I want you guys to focus on. It is really the eating that you're taking in. And of course, everybody's like, okay, that's simple. It's easy to say until you actually start kind of taking stock of what you're doing on a daily. Okay, so now Sheila Jones down 8 pounds. Great. So I'm gonna tell you that the ladies that I am working with, they're actually kind of one-on-one with me. So I'm gonna have to do some extra gym, because I gotta beat them. I can't teach somebody to beat me, but they're kind of right at that 15-pound weight loss too, and they're doing the same things. They're literally cutting out all the carbs. That's not fun. So I don't know how to stress that, to say that part is not fun. So Sheila, way to go. Let's keep pushing and get to where you need to go. And again, just because this is 12 weeks doesn't mean you have to stop at 12 weeks. If you have not reached your goal and you still need to keep going, because I will still be working out. Like I'm a gym rat. Oh my God, I told y'all my gym opened back up. One of the things I realized is, even though I have this like makeshift home gym while me and my husband are getting this restaurant going, I love being in the gym. And the reason I do is because I'm away from everything at the house. When I'm here, even though I have Peloton and I have the weights and things of that nature, I can always think of something else to do. I could either be on a computer dealing with business stuff, trying to look at locations for a restaurant. I could do all of that other stuff. When I'm at the gym, I'm just doing gym stuff. I'm just taking care of me. So I said that to say, find what works for you when it's time to work out. If it's at home, great. If it's outdoors, great. Find what works for you. Even though I was forcing myself to work out here, I so much love it, so much more in the gym. So I'm really excited about that. Let's see. Sugar intake lately. So I'm going to tell you, sugar's a big one. I'm going to say cut out all sugar. And I know that's hard. So I don't even say that lightly. What I will say is sugar will make you want more carbs. If you're trying to minimize sugar, you're going to set yourself up initially. Sugar will make you want more carbs. That's why I had to go cold turkey. So right now I crave zero sugar. And I love, I'm talking about my cheesecake and I love my wine, right? But those were so high in sugar that I had to literally go cold turkey to actually see some weight loss. And I don't like to be hungry on a daily basis. I want to get it out of my system. The first 4 to 5 days was very, very hard. I was moody. I was, tired, all of that other stuff. But once I got past that, y'all, it's been smooth sailing ever since in reference to that part of it. So that's just a suggestion. And that's the best thing I can do, is give you suggestions on, if you're trying to minimize sugar, you're going to make it a little bit harder as opposed to just cutting it out. And unfortunately, fruits are sugars. So, and I'm not saying fruits are unhealthy, so please don't come for me, because fruits are very healthy, but the body burns one fuel source at a time. So if you're giving the body fruits, which are sugars, it's going to store initially, it's going to burn that first before it gets to the next thing, So for this weight loss challenge, I was just trying to give you ideas of forcing your body to burn the fat, which in order to do that, you're going to have to take away its initial source, because it's initially going to want to go to the sugars. It's going to want to go to the carbs as opposed to the body fat. So that's just a suggestion. If you want to, if you're all right with going, a lot slower, which is fine. I'm not saying you have to go fast on the weight loss journey, but if you're all right with that, just be aware of the fact that it will slow down your journey. So ideally, I'd say get rid of the fruits, unless it's like berries. Berries are lower in sugars, and I'm saying strawberries, blueberries, things of that nature. But in reference to like the fruits that I like are so sweet, but they have very little nutritional value. Grapes, I could eat a whole pound of grapes. Like those big bags, to me, is like a one-size serving. My daughter was like, Mom, you're supposed to eat little bitty pieces. I already know that, but I ain't doing it like that. But grapes are sugar. I already know that. Pineapple, water, all that other stuff that's still great. That my body will go for that before it burns the fat, and I need my body to burn the fat. So let's see. Sugar intake lately. It's so hot in my ear that I've been chugging slushies. Okay, slushies are horrible. Slushies are full of nothing but sugar. You're saying it's hot in your area. I'm telling you, water don't hurt. And I know you want something sweet, and I get it. but slushies are, as much as I like them, and I probably haven't had a slushie in 15 years, slushies are nothing but sugar. Just, being real honest about that. Do I agree with keeping insulin levels low make you burn more fat? Yes, that is correct. When your insulin levels are high, it holds on to more fat. That's why the carbs are an issue. That's why the sugars are an issue. That's why even extreme stress is an issue. And I talked about as far as me getting, like, what was it, some 4.5 hours of sleep a day. That's not great. I already know that. But I have a friend that says, everybody wants to be a beast till it's time to do what beasts do. And one of my things is I'm doing this business. So I'm going to have sacrificed maybe a pound or two, not many, to make sure this business is off the ground. So all of those things, though, lack of sleep, sugars, they bring up your insulin levels, and that actually does slow down your fat loss. If you can take your insulin levels down, and that is also what happens when you start having diabetes and all that other stuff. You got these high insulin levels, so that is part of it, goes hand in hand. So yeah, if you can have your insulin levels down, get your cortisol levels, on check, you can actually do this weight loss thing. And again, it's not that hard, other than changing your habits. That's the hard part, right? So I don't say it lightly. Here's the drink. Sodas are horrible. Alcohol it turns to sugar. It does. I'm a perfect example. Alcohol turns to sugar, which ultimately turns to fat. So those are kind of some of the best tips I can give you in reference to this journey. But I don't want to keep you guys unless you have any other questions. Absolutely, let me know where you are. Let me know where you're trying to get to and kind of what's stopping you from getting there. You guys, I also have, if y'all don't want to comment on this video, I also have an Instagram. It's called Living Divine as well. The attachment is somewhere on this page, so in reference to on my page, if you want to do like private comments, because not everybody wants to share their stuff, and I get that. Weight loss, weight gain, or whatever, for some people is very personal. I let mine be open because I'm at this point, I'm an open book. It is what it is, and I want to help people with their journey. But if you like have a comment that you don't want to put on this chat, feel free to go to my Instagram and let me know. But because I don't check messages on Instagram often, you could just hit me up on this saying you left me a message on Instagram, and I'll go check that one. Right? Sugar from fruit. Rachel, I was talking about that. Fruits or sugar. Fruits are sugar. Now, what happens with fruits is the body does it differently in reference to the insulin level. So let me start off with that. The reason I was saying don't have sugar during this period of time is but the body burns one energy source at a time. And fruit is sugar. So if you're trying to drop some fat, and you're trying to drop it in a short period of time, relatively short, I'm gonna say hold off on the fruits. But yeah, fruits are sugar, but fruits don't necessarily bring up your insulin levels. Not necessarily. Maybe the fruits I eat, which are, of course, the pineapples, grapes, things of that nature. But there are tons of fruit that don't. Most fruit that don't. But even with pineapples and grapes, which are very healthy, it doesn't bring the insulin levels up the same way as, let's say, carbs does, or actually like cheesecake or something of that nature. But again, it depends upon where you are in your weight loss journey. Okay, so you love to see what I eat in a day. And you know what? Several people have asked me, like, do what I eat in a day. The issue with what I eat in a day is because I do, I grab a piece of meat and some broccoli heading out the door. Right. So I don't sit where I see it on YouTube. They have them cute little plates fixed. And I don't want to lie to anybody about what I actually ate to lose the weight. Because at some point, well, not some point, at the end of this weight loss challenge, I'm going to just be ass naked on it. Well, you're not ass naked, but you know what I'm saying. I will show you what this looks like, all cut up, going on a challenge, and let you get an idea of what it looks like. But because I have one of those, several pictures of me on this channel actually showing what I look like when I gain weight, I don't want to put too many of those out there on this. I can only look at myself, being so often. So, But that's why I have not shown, and for Sheila, why what I eat in a day, because I really do, I'm grab and go, right? But maybe I will put, like, actually, like, my food doesn't look great. Like, I don't need to make my food fancy now. Now I eat to sustain so I can get the weight off. I think, to me, in reference to what I eat in a day, would look better and maybe more appetizing after the 12-week challenge, because I can just show you how I'm weaning off this. But right now, because I'm focused on let's lose weight, let's lose weight, let's lose weight. I'll get a piece of chicken or a piece of beef and some broccoli, and I'm out. And literally, I might do that 3 times a day, and that might be my whole meal. So I don't know how that, in reference to, is it nice to look at? Probably not. And it's not appetizing. I don't do the fancy stuff because I just don't have time for it right now, especially with the business going on. I just don't have time to put the fancy meals together. So, but as soon as I get to the point, especially after this 12-week challenge, and I actually have, meals that look cute, or look appetizing, I definitely will show you. I just want to always be honest that most of my food is grab and go, and it's just not cute. Like, I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat breakfast food. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I eat something, like, periodically, I'll do eggs and bacon and things of that nature, and just eat them by themselves if I'm doing keto. I don't eat bread at all. I really have not had bread, honestly, you guys, in about 25 years. So I don't do bread at all, so I don't even add the toast and all that other stuff with it. So that's the deal with me, and as far as what I eat in a day. But what I eat in a day, it could be 3 meals of chicken and broccoli. Literally, it can be that. So it's so boring. That's why I have not done it, and several people have asked. So that's where I am with that. But anyway, that's all I got for this live, you guys. If there's any questions that I have not answered, please let me know. If there's any questions you need me to answer specifically to you, because right now I can do general, what I know will help you lose weight. But if you got some specific issues, some specific barriers that are preventing you from losing weight, even with the general, like I say, feel free to hit me up on Instagram if you want to do it quietly. And just, let me know on here that you have put a comment on Instagram. But that's all I have for this live. Thank you guys so much for being on the live. And if you have any questions, let me know. Keep going. Please prep your foods. Let go of the sugars and stop eating, if you can, 2 hours before you go to sleep. And then night snacking, buy some jerky. Whatever jerky you like, turkey jerky, chicken jerky, whatever. Buy some jerky so it'll help you as far as your weight loss. But anyway, thank you guys for being on the live, and I'll see you guys on the next one.